Half-Life 3 is a sequel title that is up there with the likes of GTA 6, Elden Ring 2, Portal 3, Bloodborne 2, Silksong. Wait, no, cross that one off the list. We ended up getting that one. But anyway, Half-Life 3 is a sort of legend. We know it's been attempted and put down multiple times, but according to people in the know, like Tyler McVicker and Gabe Follower, we have had basically confirmation that Valve are in fact working on a single-player title where the character you're playing as wears an HEV suit, where the world has insane interactivity between things like fire, oil, blood, where there are mentions of allies, feral manhacks, Zen gorillas, Combine, and the codename used for the project that these lines of code are referring to is HLX. If all that is not Half-Life 3, then I don't know what to tell you. Maybe they're making another card game. Amongst all this hype, I was inspired by a great video I saw from a YouTuber called Komagasi, who made a video talking about his wish list for Half-Life 3. I thought I'd do the same thing, going through what I want and what I don't want. Probably none of what I suggest is going to happen, but it's a fun little exercise, especially with Valve's recent announcement of the 3 new pieces of hardware. It really does seem like they're gearing up to something big. What better way to promote a piece of hardware than release one of the most anticipated games of all time alongside it? So, first of all, I really want the game to have the same amount of interactability as Half-Life 2, and more. Games these days feel like they have almost fake interactability. Like, for example, Doom the Dark Ages had really cool little breakables and interactability with stuff around the world. However, it can feel less like actual interactability where you can pick things up, use them in puzzles, stack things to get to certain places, and more like a GIF that plays once you shoot something. Of course, this is just due to the fact that Doom isn't exactly a physics-focused game. It's just there for the sake of being cool, and trust me, it is. I love that game. But still, it's a good example of something that I want Valve to improve on and make into more of a system rather than a couple of props being interactable. And as I mentioned in the intro, there have been strings within data mines which support the idea of oil, water, fire, all working together to make a system which interacts with each other like it would in the real world. I don't know if this is 100% what's going to happen. We can only speculate so much with data mining, but I think something like that would be really cool and would make sense for a Half-Life game considering how evolutionary the physics system was back in the day. I'm also wondering if the water in the game is going to look like those real-life water simulations. I mean, I'd love to play around with that, although I don't know if my computer could handle it, except my PC does have better specs than this Steam machine, and I'm assuming Half-Life 3 is going to be able to run on that, so hopefully we're all good. All in all, I want realism, but fun, interactable realism, because as Gaben once said, the definition of fun in Half-Life games is the degrees to which
the game recognizes and responded to the player's choices and actions. If I go up to a wall and shoot it, to me it feels like the wall is ignoring me. I'm getting a narcissistic injury when the world is ignoring me. So it is like, to me, I was trying to convey to the user a sense of, yes, you were making choices, yes, you were progressing, which meant the game had to acknowledge that back to you. If you shoot at a wall, there have to be decals. If you kill a bunch of Marines, the Marines have to run away from you, right? You have to have this sense of the game acknowledging and responding to the choices and actions and progressions that you've made. Otherwise, it loses any sort of impact.
So, if I can shoot an oil drum getting it to spray on the ground, then throw the oil drum into a crowded area using the gravity gun, then light the oil on the ground with fire, resulting in a chain reaction of blowing up the oil drum and the surrounding enemies, along with their blood spraying all over the place then displaying itself on the surfaces nearby, I'd say that's pretty fun if you ask me. That'd be cool to play around with. Next up, I want the story to end, but leave room for spin-offs. I think having Half-Life 3 be the end of Gordon Freeman's story is the best thing possible. Like, it's been 18 years at this point, I think I'm okay with no more Gordon Freeman after this legendary game comes out. But I don't want the end to be some boring cliche, I want to be crying. Either from nostalgia or just an incredible story. I don't really mind that, as long as it's emotional and interesting while leaving certain things open-ended. Like where Barney might end up, or where Alex might end up. Maybe one day we'll get another VR Alex game, who knows? I'd certainly like that. I also don't know if I want the G-Man to appear as a boss. Obviously, it seems like that's the natural lineup as he is the one who is the main big bad, other than the Combine. Instead, I'd like the G-Man to be simply part of the narrative rather than the gameplay. We've never been able to hurt him or interact with him, except when we're Alex talking back, and I think it should stay that way. The reason the G-Man is so incredibly cool is because he's always just out of reach, in the shadows, and we never know what he's going to do next. That only makes his appearance so much more interesting and anticipated. If we chatted to him throughout the game, his final monologue just wouldn't hold as much weight as it does, so yes, give me a cool-ass boss fight against the Combine or something where we rally the entirety of the human race against the hive mind or whatever, but leave G-Man alone. I also hope that if Barney returns, he makes a remark about owing Gordon a beer, or maybe we could even have a scene where Gordon and Barney actually get a beer. I don't know how the non-talking would work.
Man, a few words, aren't you?
I really hope that they keep him mute. I understand that it was a bit of a challenging thing to do, but I think it allows for the person playing Gordon to put themselves in that position a bit easier. I don't know how I'd feel if they make Gordon say some words like they made the Doom guy do in the Doom franchise.
Guts. Huge guts. Kill them. Must kill them all.
I personally wouldn't mind it, but I know the schizophrenic fanbase would hate the decision to make Gordon Freeman start yapping about the price of eggs or some shit. Now, something else that I'd love to see would be updated weapons. I don't even mean new weapons. I mean I want the weapons to sound more crisp and more punchy, and for it to be iconic. Valve's weapons have always been iconic in their design and their sound, so having Half-Life 3 keep up with the trend of amazing and classic sounding weapons would be lovely. To be honest, I felt a bit let down by Half-Life Alyx's shotgun and pistol. They didn't sound very punchy. Instead, they sounded light and fluffy. I hope that Half-Life 3's weapons feel a bit more bassy and hard-hitting. I also would love some Half-Life 1 weapons to be returned. The glue-on gun specifically would be a beautiful weapon to see in Source 2. I don't know how they go about getting it. Maybe G-Man could teleport Gordon back to Black Mesa. That would be cool, but anyway, yeah. Give me some more oldies, make the ones we already know feel and sound better, and give me something new. I wouldn't mind something like the ice gun. That shit looked so cool when they showed it off. I think it'd be a really cool thing to use and play around with, kind of like how the gravity gun was when we first used it. Now it seems trivial and obvious, but I'm sure everybody thought it was the coolest thing when they first played around with it. I want Half-Life 3 to have something just as fun to play around with, whether it be ice, water, fire, etc, etc. I don't know, I'm not a game designer, that's their job. I think a 4 elements kind of weapon could be cool. A great way to get this potential weapon could be Aperture Science maybe. I need some Portal integration into Half-Life 3. We have Half-Life 1, Half-Life 2, Portal 1, Portal 2. It only makes sense for Half-Life 3 to finally combine the two games into one. There's already been plenty of references between games.
At Aperture Science were at work on a project of some promise, but in their rush to beat Black Mesa for funding, they must have compromised ordinary standards of risk.
And I'd really love either Shell or Gordon to meet each other, or at least cross paths. I absolutely love when Valve games go through old sections of previous games, like in Portal 2 at the start. While yes, it was a bit jarring because of the change in style, the fact that it was even happening was incredibly cool, and while Opposing Force was not a Valve-made expansion, Gearbox's idea of treading back on levels that Gordon had been on previously was genius, and felt really exciting to do for some reason. The simple act of revisiting places you've been to before in the future is just a great way to weaponize nostalgia and recognition into awe. And I think revisiting the Aperture Science Labs as Gordon, or revisiting Black Mesa, or even City 17's railway station would be an amazing experience. And not cheap nostalgia bait. I feel like Valve would do it in a way which serves the story and makes sense within the Half-Life universe. Most of all, I want Half-Life 3 to feel like Half-Life. And what I mean is that Half-Life Alyx was great on its own as a VR game, and certainly felt like Half-Life with its set pieces and atmosphere. However, on flat screen, the movement of the game needs to feel at least similar to Half-Life or Half-Life 2. Don't give me some running animations with Gordon's arms swinging from side to side with his head bobbing, just keep it simple. In the same vein of wanting it to feel like Half-Life, I want the controls and HUD to be similar too. The same way how Half-Life 1's weapons transitioned into Half-Life 2's. They are different but similar in the way they work. Just don't do like a weapon wheel or make the HUD interchangeable between different styles in the menu. Just give me the classic orange see-through layout and I'll be happy as ever. Oh, also another thing I'd love is more seriousness. Please keep the funny light-hearted jokes in Alyx and Portal 2. Valve always seemed more atmospheric and down-to-earth when their games weren't making jokes.
Most test subjects do experience some cognitive deterioration after a few months in suspension. Now, you've been under for quite a lot longer, and it's not out of the question that you might have a very minor case of serious brain damage.
For example, despite Portal's black humour, it's still a creepy game. Portal 2, on the other hand, felt more like Stephen Merchant and Terence Fletcher making jokes at me as I solved puzzles.
Do you understand what I'm saying at all? Does any of this make any sense? Just tell me, just say yes. Okay, what you're doing there is jumping. You just jumped.
All right, let's get started. This first test involves something the lab boys call repulsion gel. You're not part of the control group, by the way. You get the gel. Last poor son of a gun got blue paint. All joking aside, that did happen. Broke every bone in his legs. Tragic, but informative.
Which I loved, by the way. But Half-Life was always more effective and emotionally grasping when it was serious. Like when Triage at Dawn first plays in Half-Life 2 with the wounded soldiers being taken care of, I felt a genuine sense of pride, I guess, or hope for humanity.
Who's hurt?
Winston's been hit.
Patch him up and get him to the back as soon as he's stable. Gordon Freeman. It's incredible you made it. We've been getting communication from Alex. I'll see if I can reach her again. Follow me.
Moments like that are really cool, but if those moments get a funny one-liner like, "Oh geez, thankfully my head is still intact," I think I'd kill myself. No, I'm being harsh. But yeah, basically, give me more Half-Life 2 instead of more Half-Life Alyx. I loved Half-Life Alyx. I thought Russell was great, the humor was awesome, but Half-Life Alyx should stay as Half-Life Alyx. I want to cry multiple times throughout my playthrough, and spoilers, the only time I cried while playing Half-Life Alyx was when I was playing as Gordon, so they've already started the trend. With the same idea as more seriousness, I also want more horror. Jeff was great, but I want me another Ravenholm. I see people play Half-Life 2 for the first time, and Ravenholm is always my favorite thing to watch because of how genuinely scary it is.
Yikes. Oh my, what are they? Ah!
I don't think anything could have prepared me for this. I was like, oh yeah, like something went bad here. Like, you can tell, and then it just gets worse.
I remember being fucking terrified when I was 14 playing for the first time. It gave me nightmares, so Valve, give me more nightmares, please. Thank you. Finally, I want the music to be as good as Kelly Bailey. I know Mike Moraski is probably working on it, as you can see here.
So I took those and pushed them just a little further, but used those in both the Half-Life games, game, and
And he's great. I just really want him to focus on the atmospheric tracks and make them sound as iconic as possible. It'd be my dream for Mike Moraski and Kelly Bailey to work together on this, but realistically, I think Kelly is retired from making music for Valve. I was happy with Half-Life Alyx, but it didn't sound like Gordon's soundtrack, it felt like Alex's, which I guess was mission accomplished, but I really hope that Mike uses Half-Life 2 as a base. Hearing Lab Practium or Black Mesa Inbound, but updated for Half-Life 3, would make my eyes water with happiness. I don't know, the music in these games are incredibly important, and I just hope it doesn't lose its vibe, I guess. Alright, that should be it. That is my wish list and ideas for Half-Life 3. The past couple of weeks have been incredibly exciting to be a part of. Witnessing the new hardware being announced was incredibly fun, and I've never been more happy to be a part of this schizophrenic community. I wasn't around on the internet that much before Half-Life Alyx got announced, so it's been pretty cool to be here, making videos about Valve and talking about my passions. When Half-Life 3 does come out, you best believe I'm going to be streaming it and uploading my playthrough, but for now, thank you for listening to my ramblings, and I'll see you in the next video.